Right now at 6 o'clock, some of Silicon Valley's smaller cities seeing big spikes in homelessness.
The people in the San Jose or East Palo Alto or Redwood City coming here.
We'll hear from people living in RVs in Mountain View who are noticing their street getting much more crowded. Plus,
they constantly hit the same side all the time.
The cone crackdown on the peninsula. We'll hear from a neighbor who says it's not to save a parking spot, but to protect her property.
At least maybe it would give them some attention, and I haven't been hit since I put it.
And the Willie Mays memorabilia auction is set to generate millions for children and charity, but the son of the Giants legend tells us why some of those items should not be sold. And later,
it just felt like you were immersed in actually walking through a manga.
We'll take you inside a brand new exhibit at the DeYoung Museum celebrating a uniquely Japanese art form.
This is CBS News Bay Area with Juliette Goodrich.
Hello, I'm Sarah Donchie. Juliette Goodrich has the night off. It is an eye-opening snapshot of the housing crisis in the South Bay. A new report found that homelessness is rising, but not necessarily in the cities that you might expect. Santa Clara County saw an 8% increase in the homeless population over the last 2 years. According to a January count, nearly 2/3 of the county's unhoused people are living in San Jose, but the numbers there only grew slightly. The report found that major spikes on the west side of the county were happening in some of the most expensive communities in the entire Bay Area. In some cities, the unhoused population more than doubled. Dahlin is in Mountain View with a look at what could be driving that trend in Silicon Valley.
The smaller and more affluent cities in the northern part of Santa Clara County are seeing the biggest spikes in homelessness. Again, these are some of the most expensive cities in the Bay Area. Cupertino's number jumped 110% compared to 2 years ago. Palo Alto is up 103%. The city of Santa Clara, 72%. And here in Mountain View, homelessness is up 56%. A drive down Mountain View's Lake Horn Street. It's hard to miss the RVs lined up here and on nearby streets.
We stay here for 2 years, maybe 20, 25 RVs. Now it's 70, 75 more. The people in the San Jose or East Palo Alto or Redwood City coming here.
Ruben El Mazo was one of the first RV dwellers on Lake Horn Street. He says most of the new arrivals showed up within the last year. He often reminds them to follow their rules so everyone can stay longer. That means no visible trash and no blocked sidewalks.
It's for the people, see everything is clean, no have complain. I talk to the older persons, hey, you know, you need it clean, you need nothing to stop outside, respect for everyone.
His experience matches the county's latest point-in-time count report. It shows Mountain View's homeless population jumped from 562 in 2023 to 879 in January 2025. Ruben and others say sky-high rents in Silicon Valley pushed them out.
For one room or one apartment is very expensive. It's $3,500. Crazy.
Mountain View is one of the most expensive places to live in the United States, and that would be one of the most expensive places to live in the entire world.
Mountain View Mayor Ellen Kamei says encampment sweeps in San Jose have pushed more people here. She also says the city offers more homeless services compared to other small cities. That's drawing even more people to stay.
In Mountain View, that's why we're seeing an increase in vehicles. We're one of the few cities that allow people to be able to park on our city streets.
The city has since added more safe parking lots for RVs. They're also working with the county and state to add more shelter beds and permanent low-income housing.
So we have about 5 affordable housing projects in the pipeline, working to get the last bit of funding to become online, but they're already council approved.
Ruben hopes to move into one of those units. He's on disability but works part-time as a janitor to save money for an apartment.
Put the money in the bank, 2 or 3 years, come back in one apartment or one house.
The county report also found many people who are newly homeless. Those surveyed most often blame losing a job. Others cited a divorce or breakup as the reason they ended up on the street.
Some South Bay cities actually saw a large drop in their unhoused population. Morgan Hill and Los Gatos led the way with a decline of more than 2/3. In Milpitas, the number of unhoused dropped 44%. Sunnyvale and Gilroy also saw the numbers tick down slightly. Meantime, some new solutions could be coming for San Jose, which currently has more than 6,500 unhoused people, according to the latest count there. Most are living on the streets. Today, Mayor Matt Mahan and County Supervisor Betty Duong laid out plans for a new partnership. Now, that would connect the city to county services like a shelter hotline and free behavioral health treatment. Mayor Mahan, who was previously called on the county to step up its efforts, says they need to work together because they're losing state and federal support.
We also have a desperate need as Washington and Sacramento pull back. The federal government is cutting Medicaid. The state just zeroed out HAP funding this year and is only committed to maybe funding half of the usual level next year.
Duong and Mahan will formally propose their plan at a Board of Supervisors meeting next Tuesday. San Francisco police are offering a $50,000 reward for information that can help solve the murder of a man in a wheelchair last year in the Mission. They're hoping to identify this person, who investigators have called a person of interest in that case. Police say on August 5th of last year, officers responded to 20th and Shotwell Streets around 5 a.m. They found a man shot and killed in his wheelchair. Police have not released any information about a potential motive for the killing. San Francisco is touting new safety improvements on one of its more dangerous streets. This morning, the city marked the completion of the 6th Street Safety Project in SOMA. That includes wider sidewalks, new pedestrian lighting, crosswalks, and traffic signals. The city says before the project, 6th Street had one of the highest concentrations of severe and fatal pedestrian collisions, most notably between Market and Howard. But now it says pedestrian injury collisions have dropped by 50%.
It's not just the reported crimes and sort of street level drug dealing and drug use that we see. It's also traffic safety. This is a district that has a disproportionate level of traffic violence.
This comes as traffic deaths in San Francisco hit the highest point in decades last year. 42 people, including 24 pedestrians, were killed. San Bruno police are trying to get people to stop putting cones or trash cans in front of their houses to reserve street parking. But Brad Hamilton spoke to some neighbors who say there is a totally different reason why they say they need those cones.
Folks, there's a cone controversy brewing right here in San Bruno. Police tell us that people are blocking off personal parking spaces with traffic cones, and they say that's a problem. But some people tell us they have no choice. Marley Kaiser knows these streets better than most. How long have you lived in San Bruno?
Since 2003.
And in all that time, she says one theme has remained a constant: orange traffic cones.
People just, well, it's my house, it's my driveway, it's my sidewalk area, we'll just block it all.
This week, San Bruno police sent out a warning on social media telling folks to get rid of the cones and whatever else is blocking off space on the roadways. It is illegal under state law to place traffic cones or any other object to block off space for parking. For some who call this place home,
They constantly hit the same side all the time.
the neon pylon feels like their only option, and it's not to save space for parking.
And then recently they just hit me again, and they totally bent my tire.
Wanting to stay anonymous but willing to speak out, a longtime San Bruno homeowner says her car keeps getting hit, and she has the video to prove it.
Blue Tesla hits my car, stops, does nothing.
This, just the most recent in a string of incidents. In the past decade, she estimates that her car has been hit a total of 8 times, and the cone has become her best line of defense.
And this is why we put this here, because at least maybe it would give them some attention, and I haven't been hit since I put it.
Police say the focus of the warning is on those who are using objects to block off space for parking. But Marley Kaiser says the warnings should target drivers.
Because it's so dangerous. Nobody slows down.
And if she had a fix-all for this whole saga, it would be
consideration for others.
Again, San Bruno police are saying this is just a warning about traffic cones, and one official wanted to make clear that they plan on not citing anybody, just educational for now.
Still ahead here at 6, we'll hear from the son of Giants legend Willie Mays, why he's taking issue with an auction of his dad's memorabilia that's set to raise millions of dollars for charity. Plus, a new exhibit at the DeYoung Museum celebrating the Japanese art of manga. We'll take you inside and meet an acclaimed artist who takes inspiration from San Francisco.
I'd like to say that human beings always repeat the same things, always think about the same things.
And later, it was a very warm end to the work week, but Darren Peck will join us with a look at the rain that could head our way after the weekend. This weekend's Willie Mays memorabilia auction is expected to generate millions of dollars for the late Giant legend's Say Hey Foundation to support underprivileged youth. But Mays' adopted son, Michael Mays, has made multiple requests for some of those items to be taken off the listing and not sold at all. Michael highlighted the Presidential Medal of Freedom award given to Willie Mays in 2015. He thinks it should go to a museum rather than to the highest bidder.
Some things that are being considered memorabilia are by no means memorabilia. They are culturally, historically significant items that are priceless and belong to the next generation, and that's going to be our chance.
The auction house, though, says they're just following Willie Mays' own wishes.
What's so important to us is that we honor the wishes of the player that's selling the things with us. And Willie always wanted this to go to help get young people a better start than he had from Westfield, Alabama.
We did reach out to the Say Hey Foundation. Its chair, a longtime friend of Willie Mays named Jeff Bleich, sent us a statement saying in part, quote, Willie Mays loved children and he wanted all of his collection to go to his fans in order to raise money to serve those children. Bleich also said that Mays made replicas of the pieces that he wanted to have displayed and added that the foundation held back some historic pieces for future display. A much different sort of display from the other side of the world is debuting at the DeYoung Museum tomorrow. The Art of Manga exhibition gives visitors an in-depth look at how Japanese artists have created some of the world's most popular stories. Our Lorene Ayub gives us a sneak peek.
Vibrant and familiar characters are on full display at the DeYoung Museum. The new Art of Manga exhibit is diving deep into Japanese graphic storytelling. Featured artist Mari Yamazaki blends history and heart in her work, shaped in part by her grandfather's ties to San Francisco.
It's my personal story that my grandfather lived here in San Francisco from 1915 to 1928. So he always talked about me happy life he got in San Francisco at the time.
Yamazaki's work draws from both the past and the present, offering a reflection on time, culture, and the human condition.
I'd like to say that human beings always repeat the same things, always think about the same things.
Visitors like Matthew Jin step into what feels like a living comic book, the very foundations of anime as we know it today.
Just walking through the Art of Manga exhibit in the DeYoung, it just felt like you were immersed in actually walking through a manga, like the actual pages, because there's architecture that seems like it's actually made out of paper and like animations.
The exhibit, the first of its kind on the West Coast, showcases manga's global impact. And Yamazaki says it's meaningful to have her work on display in such a creative city.
I think that it's thanks for the San Francisco that make me to become manga artist.
For Yamazaki, manga is more than ink on paper. It's a bridge between cultures and generations.
The exhibit officially opens to the public tomorrow and it runs through January of 2026. You can get tickets on the DeYoung Fine Arts Museum website. All right, they say neither rain nor snow nor heat can stop the mail. What about a broken down vehicle? The Postal Service is looking to hire automotive specialists right here in the Bay Area to keep their fleet running. The USPS held a job fair where candidates were able to tour their vehicle maintenance facility in San Francisco. The Postal Service is trying to hire about 30 technicians and specialists. One technician walked us through what he does and why he likes doing the job.
We check the brakes, the steering, the suspension. We lower this panel and we change the oil and filter. There are frequent increases in salary. There's plenty of room for advancement.
If you missed the job fair but you're interested in applying, you can go to the USPS website to apply. We are following some breaking news in San Francisco where we can see a pretty big police presence. This is in front of the main branch of the public library, a building that is probably going to be familiar to you if you are a San Francisco resident, right across the street from City Hall, a place that is well-traveled with visitors pretty much most of the day. You can see a lot of police officers and quite a bit of crime tape right there near the front door of the library. They have that area blocked off. Now, important to note that police have not specified exactly what happened here, but we have seen what looked like a pool of blood on the ground outside. We're continuing to ask them for more details about what happened, and we will bring you more information as soon as they confirm it. Darren?
Sarah, coming up in the forecast, we got a great weekend coming our way. So we're going to jump ahead. I've got to show you what's coming early next week. We're going to watch a cold front bring widespread rain back to the entire Bay Area. We've got to time this one out, and I'll have all the details on it coming up in the forecast right after the break.
Your community, your news, powered by KPIX. CBS News Bay Area. Watch anywhere, anytime. Stay informed and connected. Trusted local news when you want it. CBS News Bay Area. Watch free on any device.
I always feel bad saying we made it to the weekend because I know some of our viewers, many of our viewers work on the weekends. A lot of us work on the weekends.
I'm going to be standing right here.
You'll be standing right here. Still, it's going to be a beautiful weekend, but then we have something to look forward to after that, right?
Yes, and there's a lot that needs to be sorted out with the rain because that's what you're talking about. We got rain coming next week, and it's like when we get to the 7-day forecast, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all 3 of those days have rain on them. Won't rain for 3 days straight. But all 3 have a chance. Monday might be the most impressive. Let's take a look at it. If you looked off our coast right now, we've got a beautiful clear patch in the clouds. Saturday's going to be so fantastic. You're not even going to have any marine layer when you wake up. It's going to be blue sky. And if you're inland, it's going to be like 10 degrees cooler than today. That means like low 80s. So enjoy the first half of the weekend. Sunday might be a bit cloudier in the morning. But there's our cold front. Barely see it showing up on the northern edge of your screen. Let's put the rain in that and play it forward. And now you see it. This is a beautifully defined cold front that's going to take its time in getting here. That says Monday at 1 o'clock. So we're not going to start even seeing the rain from this until we get into Monday, and then we'll continue to see the showers come through for the next few days. Because if you look at that initial line, this might be one of the more interesting parts of the 3-day rain. Because that cold front's got enough organization to it. Some of this stuff showing up in through here, like you see the yellows, that's where the intensity of the rain picks up a bit, and we could have a few isolated thunderstorms in that line as it marches its way across the bay on Monday. And then if you look back there, see how there's just a couple of other patches of green? There's an entirely separate front, one of these again, that will then come through on Tuesday, but that one does not look as impressive as the first one. Let's look at this all again in another way. I want to get a little more specifics on this. So we'll bring in the latest forecast imagery from the European model. This is the American model down here. European model does a better job with these things lately. The computer's just gotten a little more advanced. Computer systems running a little more accurately. So let's look at that one. And at least as far as Monday, it's pretty much the same story. Monday, look at the time frame. That gets us through like afternoon into evening. Timing on this could shift a little bit. So let's not nail this down and say it exactly Monday night that cold front gets here, but call it like by middle of the day to late afternoon, early evening. That's the initial line that comes through, gets down to the South Bay. You see the cold front? So this is overnight now. We've already gone ahead to Tuesday morning. So this forecast progression's moving pretty quick. We covered a lot of time there. By Tuesday morning, we've still got the front about to clear the South Bay. That might look impressive, but you may only get like 1/10 or 2/10 of an inch of rain out of this. Unless there's an isolated thunderstorm in there, then you could get more. But it's probably more likely for the North Bay than the South Bay. Let's clear out that first wave. Here comes the next one. This now gets us into late Tuesday into very early Wednesday morning, and you can see the next front coming through. And then by the time we get to the second half of Wednesday, that clears out and we're done. Don't have rain in the forecast on Thursday. All right, that was a lot. Here's the proof in the pudding. How much rain do you actually get? These numbers also are likely going to change a bit. But the generalized takeaway is this is not like a blockbuster storm. 1/2 inch of rain considering it's the first one of the season, and it has been quite some time since we've had that much rain, that's a pretty good amount of rain, but we can easily handle it. You'll have wet roads. That's about it. Look at the South Bay, East Bay, San Francisco. The numbers are lower. Maybe 0.3 of an inch of rain in the city, and then maybe for the whole thing, maybe just about 0.2 of an inch of rain in San Jose. Again, these numbers are likely going to adjust as we get closer to it, but I want you to see where the forecast stands now so we've got a good idea on how this is all going to play out. Speaking of which, let's see how this is all going to play out in a 7-day forecast. This weekend is great. It was 90 degrees inland today. You're going to be in the low 80s tomorrow with plenty of sunshine. Sunday morning, I think we wake up with a lot more marine layer to start the day, but then you'll get afternoon and the sun, noticeably cooler day. We talked about these three. And then by Thursday and Friday, the system clears out and we'll go back to plenty of sunshine and temperatures should level out pretty much at average, which is low to mid 80s for this time of year. And if we look at the 7-day forecast for the Bay, same story. 3 rainy terrariums there to start the week and a great looking weekend before that. I'll see you with more on this coming up in the 7 o'clock newscast. Sarah, back to you.
All right, Darren, thanks. When we come back, living longer is often tied to what you eat, but wait until you hear one food that may have helped this woman reach 117. Plus, here's a look at what's ahead on the CBS Evening News.
Steve Hartman goes on the road and meets a young Phillies fan with a very big heart. That's tonight on the CBS Evening News.
A new study out this week reveals that some clues on how to live a longer life, a much longer life, in fact. And it's all thanks to a woman who died last year in Spain at the age of 117. Maria Brañas Morera was the oldest person in the world when she died last year. She was actually born in San Francisco, but she lived most of her life in Spain. She survived 2 world wars, 2 pandemics. She had 3 great-grandchildren, three children, and 13 great-grandchildren. She asked doctors study her life to find answers about her longevity. Now they say it was partly her genes and partly her healthy diet, which included fish, olive oil, and lots of yogurt.
There are many reasons why she lived that much and with good health. One possible component relates to diet, of course. She ate 3 per day, not 1, it's 3 per day. At the end, it reduced inflammation. And chronic inflammation is one of the main causes of aging and disease.
Important to note that she was never a smoker, never a drinker, and she kept a close circle of family and friends. The CBS Evening News is next on KPIX. Local news continues at 8.